Visit tcgcastle.com and get 5% discount on your first purchase with TCG Center 5 code. How's it going, guys? Once again, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, we'll be looking at Tauros GX and this beast, Decidueye GX, with a feather arrow. So what's very interesting about this deck? So the first thing you're gonna notice, 4 copies of Tauros. So probably you're gonna ask yourself, is the Tauros the only attacker, the main attacker in this deck? Yes, the answer is correct. The Tauros is gonna be just the one and only attacker in this build. So with 180 HP and with the Fighting Fury belt attached to him, he can have 220 HP, and with a single double course energy I can use my Horn attack for 70. I can go with the Rage for 20 plus 10 more for each damage counter on this Pokemon, which is also insane. And I can go with the Mad Bull GX 30, which is only usable once per game, so I can strike for 30 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So if I have 5 damage counters on this Tauros, I can strike for 150 with the Mad Bull GX. That's just insane. On the other side, with Decidueye GX, I can just simply go for 240 HP as a tank, and I can simply spread damage counters around the board with the feather arrows. So once during my turn, I can just put the damage counters to one of my opponent's Pokemon in play. So that's insane. That's really insane, because I can snipe to the bench, I can attack with my Tauros. Insane. Very, very insane deck. So 17 Pokemons, 39 trainer cards, and 4 energies. Only 4 double course energies because I decided to go only with the Tauros so I can have more space for best consistency that I can get. So also 2 Shamis with the setup are gonna be maybe possible to attack with the Scar Return just to get rid of the Shamis from play. Even in theory, that can happen sometimes. Item card list and trainer card list and supporter card list. 2 Acrobikes. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You might put one in your hand, discard the other one. Not bad. Not bad card. Extra acceleration, always welcome to any deck list. 2 Escape Ropes, 0 Flowstones. Why? The reason is going to be, of course, to counter Finite Eviltal, to get more options to avoid those Glaceons, not the Glaceons, but the Jolteon's Crystal Ray, for example, because sometimes it's going to be hard to play against them if we actually don't have Ranger in our hand. So we can always bench down our opponent, Jolteon, for example, and simply Lysander him and knock out with a Tauros GX if we really need to do that. That can be also very good. But definitely good against those annoying Eviltals, because Finite Eviltal can simply just Lysander your Decidueye and you cannot retreat without double course energy or switch Escape Rope or Olympia, just because Flowstone will not work. So that's the reason why I just decided to go with 2 Escape Ropes. I don't know why, but Escape Rope works so much better in this deck, especially when we want to snipe something on our opponent bench. 2 copies of Level Balls, just for the best possible setup with my Rowlets. 2 copies of the Revitalizers, of course, so I can grab any grass Pokemon from my discard pile. Also very important, very, very important, because I can just discard them and be able to bring them back with Revitalizer. Special Charge ×1 to recycle DCs. Timer Ball ×1. It's good card, but not that good, because you still need to flip a coin. So if you flip 2 tails, you didn't get nothing. If you flip 1 heads or 2 heads, well, then you can just grab Dartrix ×2, or just Dartrix and Decidueye, and have that lined in play very quick. 4 copies of Trainer's Mails, 4 Ultra Balls, of course, and 4 V-Seekers. From Stadiums, of course, you will need to play 4 copies of Force to the Jump Plan, no doubt about that. Supporter line is very interesting. Of course, I decided to go with the Hex Maniac. Probably a lot of you should ask why Hex Maniac if you just want to play abilities. Well, there's a catch with the Hex Maniac. Always when you want to play Hex Maniac and shut down your opponent's abilities, first you want to play all of your abilities and then just play Hex Maniac. Hex Maniac can also be good against Vileplume item lock, so I can just Hex Maniac, set up with my trade-on cards, item cards, whatever, and then just use another V-Seeker for maybe a turn more of the Hex Maniac if I needed to get maybe more Decidueyes in play, or Acrobikes, Escape Ropes, whatever I needed that situation. Maybe just a Hex Maniac for V-Seeker, so I can V-Seeker for Lysander, for example, if I needed. Tons of multiple options. Only 1 copy of Lysander. Even I would like to go with 2 of them. So if you don't feel comfortable with 1 Lysander, cut 1 Timer Ball, trust me, and get just a 2nd Lysander in this deck. 2 copies of N, of course, and 1 copy of Olympia. Olympia is a very special card for this build because, as I mentioned in the early game, when your opponent decide to Lysander, maybe you're Decidueye, but probably he's gonna go for them, because if he take Tauros and he cannot one-hit him knockout, he's gonna be in very bad position. So you can always just use Olympia and switch your Decidueye back to the bench and heal 30 damage counters, and then just attack with your Tauros and feather arrows. Always welcome. 1 copy of Pokemon Ranger. Why? Guess what? If Giratina plays against me, if Giratina uses Chaos Wheel, I'm in the deep, you know what, because I cannot attach my stadiums and play energy cards, and that's the reason why Ranger makes a lot of sense. Professor's Kukui on the other side can allow me to draw 2 cards and do 20 more damage. I really like it. It's a pretty cool card, especially when we can strike with the Horn Attack, for example, for 90, and spreading a couple more damage counters with Decidueye up to 150 in turn, which is just amazing if you don't have a single damage counter on Tauros. 150, I take it. 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, of course. This card hand draws 7 cards, 2 Fighting Fury Belts, only 2 Fighting Fury Belts. Why no 3, 4, 5 Fighting Fury Belts, 10 Fighting Fury Belts if I run 4 copies of Tauros? That's just because I want to have more options and more consistency with my deck and my draw support, so that's the reason why 2 Fighting Fury Belts are more than enough. Of course, we want to have more than 180 so we can survive, but probably you're not going to need more than 2 Tauros per game, so that's the reason why 2 Fighting Fury Belts makes more than a lot of sense. And of course, 4 copies of double colorless energies, so I can simply attack with my Tauros GX for Horn Attack, for Mad Bull, or for Rage, or even Sky Return if I need. If you're looking for any of these cards, you can find them on ccgcastle.com with the TCG Center 5 code. You can also get 5% discount on purchase. You can find the link in my video description. Also, if you're looking to trade your bulk for booster box, make sure to check that video description. You can find everything you need to know. So let's do some game tests so you can actually see how this deck works in action. So see you in the game. Alright guys, let's do this. So, today I'm gonna play with a Tauros GX damage spread. So, let's take a look at the opening hand. So, 1 copy of Rowlet. Alright, not bad. I was hoping to start with my Tauros, of course. It's much better to start with the Tauros just because I'm running 4 copies of Tauros. I'm playing without a single copy of the Floatstone in this deck, so I decided to go with 2 copies of Escape Probe and simply with Bursting Balloon. Simply with 2 copies of Escape Probe and Olympia, just because sometimes it's better to have Escape Probe instead of the Floatstone. Sometimes it's better to have Floatstone, of course, because you can always have it for a treat. But never mind for that. Let's see what we can do with this opening hand. Looks like nothing, because my opponent just decides to play 1 copy of N after he discarded Trainer's Mail, Ultra Ball, and VS Seeker. Not bad. And what I pull? Nothing. But if the top deck is gonna be any kind of Ultra Ball, I'm gonna be more than happy. Nah, it's just another Revitalizer. Dang, that N is so bad. You gotta be kidding me that this is happening right now. A Deadpool, nothing. Just a bunch of nothing. So I'm gonna pass my turn back to my opponent and see what he can do on the other side. So there's 1 Zorua and 1 Reverse Wally. So why I even put my Stadium in play? Because I need to put my Stadium in play. It was just obvious before I play, and I'm gonna use my Forest of the Giant Plant, no doubt about that. So yeah, a Bursting Balloon for my opponent, and will that be a VS Seeker for another N? Yes, so I'm happy. 2 VS Seekers already played, means that he have 2 less Lysanders in theory to play, which is always good for me. And finally, a Tauros GX. and a double Color's Energy in my hand. But I also have Olympia here to switch, just if I want to do that. But of course I don't want to do that. I will just attach my double Color's Energy, play my Force of the Giant Plant, and go with the Sycamore for 7. Right now, I know that I might be able to pull that Escape Rope, which is going to be good. So far, no sign of it, but there is one Acrobike, which is going to be for Revitalizer, of course. I'm going to try keep searching on here with my Ultra Ball. There we go. It's going to be one Dartrix, of course. And I'm gonna try to evolve my Benched Rowlet. Then I can go with the Revitalizer. And finally I can put 2 damage counters, but it's still not time to do that. It's time for the setup. So Shaman is gonna be for 3 extra cards. Well, that's gonna be another attacker in play. So, of course, I'm gonna put my damage counters to his Zorua, because he can stand in, he can deal a lot of damage counters, and I really don't want him allowed to do that. So that's it. Next turn I can just V-Seeker for Olympia, of course. And yeah, start to attack with my Tauros, getting multiple knockouts. Actually 2 knockouts next turn, in theory, I can perform. Maybe just 1, because he managed to get that Zoroark, but maybe even 2 if he decides to stand in. Yeah, let's see. For standing, he needs 1 Flareon, and then he can go for like 200. Still, it's not gonna be enough for the 1-hit knockout, but it's gonna be 200 damage, which is a lot of damage counters. There is 1 Umbreon, and an Ultra Ball. Alright, so let's see. An Ultra Ball for just a Sycamore and a Darkness Energy for the Flareon, of course. Yeah, this is a little bit riskier deck list that I'm playing. Basically, it allows me to do a fast setup. But overall, if I miss Escape Rope, or if I miss the start with my Tauros, I can be in a deep trouble. So, that's gonna be 1 Olympia. And guess what? It's gonna be down to my Tauros. So I'm gonna heal a couple damage counters here with my... No, first I'm gonna deal a couple damage counters with my Feather Arrow here. And guess what? I will just snipe his Zorua, because at this moment Zorua is the main attacker. And that's gonna be 1 Horn Attack for 60. That's more than enough for the knockout against his Zoroark, so I'm happy. Managed to pull first prize here, which is another Shaman for the setup. Alright, so I need 1 more Rowlet, so I can in theory put another Dartrix and maybe even another Decidueye GX, this Decidueye, yeah, whatever, I call it Decidueye still. So 1 Darkness Energy, and he can just strafe, of course, strafe for 30, and that means next turn I can strike with my Mad Bull for 90, which I don't want to use yet, or with my Rage for 50, but still Horn Attack is the best thing I can do here. 1 card in my opponent's hand, it's gonna be... maybe just strafe and back to Eevee. Retreat. Oh, another V-Seeker for Sycamore this time. Okay, that's fine. Sycamore for 7. Am I worried about maybe my opponent bench space and that Flareon? A little bit, but not too much. A little bit, but not too much. Alright. He can use Stray for 30. He can retreat if he wants. And he decided to do that. So he'd do me a favor, actually, in this situation. Is it worth to play Sycamore? Is it worth maybe to set up? Well, there's a lot different options that I can do. The first thing that I'm actually worried about is definitely his Dark Hole GX. But to be honest, I'm gonna force my opponent here basically to use the Dark Hole GX and discard 2 of my energy cards. Somehow I feel that's gonna be a little bit better. Let's see, Acrobike for the Dimer Ball. Okay, so I'm gonna play right now my Ultra Ball for one Escape Rope and one Lysander, just to see if I have more Roblets left. Yes, I even have another Dedicate, which means that this turn I might be able to set up another one in play. Timer Ball. Not gonna happen even close. So Trainer's Mail for me is gonna be just a Revitalizer, which is a nice card still. I'm gonna use it. But I'm not gonna play it yet. So just the energy, just a Fighting Fury Belt attachment, and one Horn attack for 60. So for now I'm good. The reason I didn't want to play my Revitalizer is just simply simpler nature. My opponent can maybe in theory just decide to Lysander my GX with 170 damage and knock him out. So I didn't want to do that. My Jack can go for 160 at this moment. Since I have Fighting Fury Belt, 180. Still I'm gonna have 10 damage. I'm gonna have 10 damage counters on my Tauros, which means next turn I can just pull V-Seeker and one-hit knock out his Umbreon GX, which is just insane. Insane how powerful this is gonna be. So, a Feather Arrow, 2 damage counters to his Zoroark, 2 more damage counters to his Zoroark. Maybe I can pull one more Ultra Ball or something like that. Just a V-Seeker. Alright, but what I can do right now is I can Lysander his Umbreon GX with one energy card in play. Before I do that, and before I finish the attack here, I'm gonna use my Trainer's Mail for one copy of Ultra Ball. Oh no, he decides to quit, yeah. He realized that the game is over, so let's move on to another game. Okay, so starting with the Rowlet in the front. Well, it's better definitely than Shaman EX. Because I really want to use Shaman for the setup instead to start with him. Acrobike, Level Ball, Trainer's Mail, V-Seeker, and Double Color's Energy in my hand, so plenty of good cards, plenty of good possibilities to take something good. So, if I can find with the Trainer's Mail maybe Stadium and with the Acrobike Supporter card for draw, I'm gonna be more than happy. So, a Friday Night Eviltal. Well, that's the reason why Escape Rope is a very good card. Very, very good card. Because if you want to beat a Friday Night Eviltal, you need to pay energy for the retreat. Or you just need to have Escape Rope, Switch, or Olympia, because Floatstone will not work. So there is one Ultra Ball. Let's see. For the V-Seeker and one Darkness Energy card. Oh, already Shaman EX. Okay, Double Color's Energy attached, and the Shaman for setup, 3 extra cards. There we go. So there's also Trubbish. This is going to be very important to knock out that Trubbish or to apply some pressure to him in the early game before he managed to evolve into Garbodor. Second Trainer's Mail, that's nice. So I have only one copy of Shaman and one Escape Rope, so I need to be very careful here. So let's see, Acrobike. I think I can't discard my Shaman in this case. I'm gonna Trainer's Mail. Nope, I don't want to take that N yet. Trainer's Mail. Forest of the Giant Plant. Okay, that's fine. So, Shaman setup for 4. Let's see. Let's see if there's gonna be Tauros and Supporter and Escape Rope, and yeah, it's gonna be one Ultra Ball for Tauros at least. So I can keep my Double Color's Energy still in play. And I can Sycamore for 7. Am I happy? Yes, I am. I'm very happy. So Sycamore for 7, well, Fighting Fury Belt, a Timer Ball, and Trainer's Mail. What can I find with the Trainer's Mail? I can find Revitalizer or Level Ball. Of course I'm gonna get that Level Ball. After that, I'm gonna flip my Timer Ball. Okay, at least one has. That's perfect. Perfectly fine. Another Decidueye GX rule enters the play. And after that I can just set up my second rollet with the level ball. There we go. And guess what? Let's put some damage counters down to Trubbish. 4 in total. It's very important to knock out Trubbish before he became a Garbodor, no doubt about that. And I'm passing my turn. I wish I could also find that escape probe. Well, there is already Garbodor, so that means only one thing. Fighting Fairy Belt attached to him, I can just Lysander him and knock him out with my Tauros GX for 70, which is very important. Another Tauros top deck. A V Seeker is gonna be for Professor Sycamore, so I'm just keep trying to get escape rope. No escape rope yet. Well, I'm gonna retreat with the double course energy. Who cares? Horn attack for 70. Yeah, that's the best thing I can do. Next turn I can just knocks out his Yveltal. Of course he can knocks out my Shaman. We're gonna exchange price for 2 prizes. Doesn't matter because I have 2 beastly GXs on my bench, so I have 6 damage counters per turn. But so far I just need to Lysander somehow his Garbodor. So Garbodor is the biggest threat at this moment on the board. Of course, on the other side, if he loses his Yveltal, that's gonna be it. Oh, nice. A cheeky Lysander. That's fine. That's fine. I have Sycamore in my hand. But I'm thinking about playing that hand. Just because I want to preserve my Revitalizer so I can set up another GX in play. There's Olympia. There's Olympia in my hand. But guess what? I'm gonna Ultra Ball just to see if I have... Yeah, I have Special Charge and 1 more Double Course Energy. So I can simply pay right now Retreat Cost down to Tauros, knocks out his Yveltal, and basically grab a prize and leave my opponent without attacker. So he can promote in the front either way Shaman or Yveltal, but he is in a much worse position than I am, because I also have Olympia for the next turn in case of the Lysander, but he don't have a single attacker in play. So I'm definitely more than happy with this position, so let's see what he can do. Let's see what he can do. Who's gonna be promoted in the front? Well, for me, the best thing might be that Shaman EX, because he can absorb 1 turn of the damage counters and then just Sky Return with a double course energy, but still under the Garbotoxin he cannot set up for extra cards. Even if he have Ultra Ball in his hand, he can't simply set up. On the other side, also Friday Night is not working, so there is 1 Ultra Ball. Speaking about Ultra Ball, he can grab another Shaman, but yeah, he cannot set up. That's very bad and very sad. So Super Road and 1 Darkness Energy discarded. That's interesting decision. That's interesting decision for sure, and it's gonna be probably just for another Yveltal EX. Not another, but for the first Yveltal EX in this game. And 1 Max Elixir. Of course I need to be very careful here. Oh, nice. A Sky Return for 30. Okay, I know which 2 cards my opponent have in his hand, so I'm just gonna go with my Sycamore for 7. Okay, perfect. Escape Rope. So right now I can finally knocks out his annoying Garbodor. And guess what? This is gonna be very important for me. Very, very important, because I'm gonna be able to use my abilities. But he can also set up with his Shaman right now. That's the bad part of the story. But at least I can just 1-hit knock out his Yveltal next turn with my Mad Bull GX for 180, even if he can find the Fighting Fury Belt. Oh no, for 270, I can go for 270 actually. I can even just Lysander one of his Shamans on the bench and knock them out with my Tauros GX and still keep that Mad Bull to finish the game, knocking out his Yveltal, for example. Right now I need to discard one Pokemon from my bench. Well, it's not bad, because I can remove this one with 120 damage counters. I still have Revita Laser left. I still have Stadium card left, so yeah, I don't need to worry for nothing. A Sycamore for 7. This is probably gonna be one Y-Cyclone for 90. Max Elixir and no energy, unfortunately. Oh, Enhanced Hammer. Okay, I didn't expect Enhanced Hammer. So Ultra Ball. Yeah, Enhanced Hammer hurt a little bit. It actually hurt a lot. Not a little bit, but a lot. So another Ultra Ball for another Shaman. A lot of Shamans right now on his bench. I see actually victory in my hand. I simply need to get Lysander for those Shamans. For actually a couple turns just to use my Feather Arrow to those Shamans. 2 turns will be enough to knock out one of his Shamans if there was no Pearl City. Or if I actually just decided to discard my Tauros, but I didn't. Cool. Top deck Revita Laser. Acrobike for Kukui. Sounds like a crazy idea. Very crazy idea. Very crazy idea! But okay, never mind. Am I doing it right? Yes, I'm doing it right. Okay, so very crazy idea, as I mentioned it. But at least I can spread 6 damage counters. Where those damage counters are gonna go? To those Shamans. Because I can bring the victory next turn. Simply. Yeah, in theory. I can do that. Am I gonna pass the turn? Yeah. Pass the turn. Another Y-Cyclone, a knockout on my Tauros GX. That's for sure. Delinquent. 3 cards. Let it be Tauros, let it be Lysander, let it be Sycamore. I still have V-Seeker. And I can still pull another Professor's Kukui. That's the knockout. That's the 100 damage. I can go for 120 max with my Tauros GX, but I need double Core's energy, which I have. So to knocks out his to get a victory here, all I really need is simply a Feather Arrow 20, another Feather Arrow 20, another Feather Arrow 20. Mad Bull GX can go for 90 right now, actually for 100, which means only one thing. I need Professor's Kukui. And I need it so badly. There we go, 2 cards for me. And then simply Mad Bull GX for 120. So that's the knockout. And basically next turn, all I really need to do, shot 3 of my Feather Arrows to his Shaman EX on the bench, or either way perform a V-Seeker for Lysander, and gets the knockout against the Shaman for the last 2 prize cards. Only thing that can save my opponent right now is gonna be 20, 40, 60, 80, 120, 140, 160, yeah, 160, 170, no, there's no way that he can knock me out with the Yveltal. In theory, maybe if he can pull Olympia, and if he can somehow get, I don't know, he needs Olympia, he needs Lysander. The best thing he can go and bet something like Escape Rope, for example, yeah, that's also a good one. That's also a good one. And maybe he can end me right now. But still, I can just use my Feather Arrows. And that's it. Since he had that Escape Rope, why he didn't decide, oh, okay, Central Lady for 6. That's gonna explain a lot of things here. But still, I have VS Seeker, so I can just Lysander. But if I do the Lysander trick, I can just pay 1 double Course Energy for the retreat. So let's go with the VS Seeker, let's grab the Lysander. So Lysander to Shaman. That's 1 feeder arrow, 2 feeder arrows, 3 feeder arrows, that's 60. There we go, 60. And I can go with my Tauros for the knockout. Yeah, I can do that. Double Course Energy attachment, retreat to Tauros, say to my opponent, well played, and basically use the Horn attack for 70, which is going to be more than enough to knock out his Shaman and get the last 2 prize cards. Amazing. Well, I started was a little bit slow because no chance to retreat, but once I managed to put 3 Dedicus on my bench, those Shamans didn't stand a chance against them.